Are you ready for Lover? We are going to make a snow globe tumbler. I've actually got 2 of these in case this one doesn't go well. So this first one, I'm going to use these little rhinestones here. So I've got the blue and pink, and then I've bought a lilac just to kind of fill in the gaps because I didn't know if this would be enough to fill this in. So this one's already got a hole in the bottom. So basically, I'm gonna just shimmy them all in there and mix them up a little bit, make them look really cool, and then hopefully that's kind of it. I've then got to put the stopper on it and then put some resin on the bottom to make sure it doesn't kind of come out, which I've not done before, but today can be a first day. So this is the make that started this whole project. All right, this seems a little bit better. Okay, so now we have our top. There's so many on the table. The problem is when they go in, they don't go down. And my understanding is I don't need to put any kind of liquid or solution in if it's just rhinestones. My understanding is that I just put them in and then off you go. Okay, so we have some at the bottom at least. Hang on. That's gonna be the top of the cup, isn't it? Oh no. It's okay, there's some pink at the top of the cup anyway. I now need to switch to doing blue. This is far too many, but I'm gonna take my lid and I'm just gonna put a few on top, not many. And then now I'm gonna push them in the hole, and I'm gonna get all of them on the hole, in the hole, and anything that doesn't fit in the hole is gonna fall onto the paper or be pushed into the paper in a second. This isn't a quick process, but there's just no space in the lid for anything to go anywhere else. And now I basically just need to turn it. And as I turn it, they're falling down to the bottom. I feel like I'm playing, is it pinball? And I'm just trying to get the stones down to the bottom. But you know what? We're getting there. It's not done. That bit's obviously not very good. I think that's just happens to be where all the big chunks have gone. I have temporarily stopped because this section at the top, I think you can see there, they're just all getting stuck, and I spent about half an hour trying to bash them down and it's not working. So I'm going to leave it. I'm going to do some research, see if I can kind of maybe expand it somehow so the gems actually sit, or the rhinestones sit properly. It's just these gaps here are going to look terrible. So I don't want to go through the effort of putting everything in if I can't fix that. So I'm going to switch to my other tumbler and do the other method, which I thought was going to be the hardest, but actually now I'm wondering if that's going to be the easiest, because it seems like it might be. Tumbler number 2, here we go. So this is everything that I'm going to hopefully be using. So I've got some glitter. This one's really, really pretty, this blue, and then this pink. I think I'm going to use both. I thought I might just use one, but I think I will use both. And then we need to make up a solution, which is going to be a mixture of distilled water, vegetable glycerin, and then clear glue. So I think I'm going to use 100 mils each of this, 50 mils of this. And then I'm going to also use some distilled water, and I'm going to put it in my tumbler first. So my tumbler is a snow globe tumbler, and it's just got that little hole there at the bottom. So it's going in the top, and it takes a minute to fill the top up, and then it's going to start coming down the side. I'm just doing it really slowly. Probably put too much in. I'm not sure how much I was meant to put in to start with, but that's what I've gone for. So it's up to about there. So I've just put masking tape on the wrong way around, so the sticky side is out. And that's just to help keep my glitter in place. Now I've got glitter here, and what I can't decide is whether I should put just the pink in followed by blue, or whether I should mix the 2 in here to make it mix a bit more evenly. I guess now that I say that, that makes a bit more sense. So I'm just gonna go for it. Ooh, no turning back now. Well, I've got plenty more glitter, but theoretically no turning back. Lol. Just gonna use my finger. Okay, so now I'm just going to pour it in the top. So I've done these ones, as you saw, with the rhinestones, and it failed hard. So this is kind of no turning back moment now. Right, I'm just going to push it around, trying to get it in the hole. Tip this back in. Yes! Okay, some of it has entered. So all I'm doing is trying to push it in the hole here. And then once it's in the hole, I'm trying to shake it down. Oh, I'm so excited. Still think it's going to take me an absolute age to do, but Look how much more progress I've made in such a short amount of time. Oh, this is so much easier. So it's a relatively quick process compared to the rhinestones, and it's oddly therapeutic. It feels like when you're sifting flour. So I think I'm going to keep going until the glitter reaches about here. That's my only thing that I don't know how much to fill it up with before I then put the solution in. So I think this is the amount of glitter that I'm going to put in. I've probably put too much in, but we'll find out later on. And then I'm going to keep what's remaining here because that's going to go onto the top when I do the resin at the end. And I'm going to use my solution. I'm going to pour it in and I'm going to do it really slowly. So everything I've read is telling me that I've put an okay amount of glitter in there, if not a little too much, which is fine. I've made a mess, but that's okay. So I'm basically at the top now, thank goodness. So I've got my air bubbles at the top, which obviously I knew I was going to have. And then now I just need to try and get a little bit more solution in if I can. And then I'm going to leave it overnight to dry, but I'm going to make sure it's not on the solution. So I'm going to put a little bit more in at the top, see if I can. Everything in here is covered in glitter right now. So let's go. Air bubble there. So I've got a little bit of an air bubble at the top at the moment. It's not very big, but you might be able to just cover the whole. So you can see the air bubble. Trust me, there's one there. So basically I need to leave this overnight to do what they call degassing, to get rid of the last air bubble. So I've used up about half my solution, but I'm going to go clean this and leave it because I think I'm just going to end up bashing more air bubbles in. I think I've done a good job getting out of my big air bubble, but there's now kind of little ones foaming up from where I'm bashing it. So I'm going to go clean it and then I'm going to leave it because I've got the sticky fingers. So I'm going to go for round 2 on the rhinestones. I got my husband to bash it quite aggressively against the wall, but we've managed to get all the ones down from the top. So I'm going to start again. And I'm going to do what I think could be either a genius move or a really stupid move. So I read that if you kind of use like staticky type get rid of sheets, I'm just using baby wipes that are dry. I'm going to rub the rhinestones in this sheet so that they're hopefully not staticky, because apparently that could be the reason they're getting stuck. I think it's because some of them are too big. So my second thing is to use one of them, cut a tiny hole in and then shake them over the top. So hopefully just the like 3mm ones go through to start with. I'm just going to put some of the smaller ones in the hopes that they will fill in the gaps. So what we ended up doing was bashing it on the floor. For me, wasn't working. Oh no. So if I can't get these to shake down, I'm going to bash it against the wall. So I've almost got all of the holes filled in, so just that little bit there, but the rest is good. So I think I'm just going to start piling them back in. I'm going to give you like a speed run of what I'm doing now so that it's not boring for you. It is a very good few hours later, but look where I'm at. So I've just popped the stopper in at the bottom for now. Update time. So our rhinestones are in. I think they look really good. I just don't think it's enough. So I still obviously have to finish the bottom, but I think I'm going to do the top. I wasn't sure whether to put vinyl on the top first because I've seen a lot of people do that to kind of enhance the colour, but I'm going to be doing a mixture of blue and pink and purple. I think I'm going to do mostly blue because it's like the clouds, and a little bit of pink, a little bit of purple. So I think I'm not going to do vinyl because otherwise it would be a different colour underneath the rhinestones. I've got some gemstone glue, which I've used in the past, hasn't worked successfully, so I will try again and see if this works. And I've got my little rhinestone pen, which I've not used yet, so I'm quite excited about that. Update with my snow globe tumbler. I've been degassing it for 3 days, I think, and I've got some really small micro bubbles in there. There's one kind of 5mm size bubble and then the tiny, tiny, tiny bubble. So I'm almost done. So I'm at the point where I am topping it up with solution using a syringe just to help get the bubbles out. And I'm having just to sit there and tap it and move the bubbles. Feels like rubbish Tetris. If I haven't told you that before, rubbish Tetris is the game. So I'm hoping, it's just leveling up over there now, so I'm hoping just maybe one more day and then that will be done, because I want to get the resin on the top of both of them and just get them done. So top of this one today, degassing of the other one today, and then maybe tomorrow we'll see where we're at. It's time for a little update on both tumblers. So this one has been degassing for about 5 days. I think it's basically done. There's a couple of air bubbles there. I don't know if you can see them moving, but to be honest, they're so small, I just can't be bothered Do you see them there rising up? That's all that there is left. I can't really be bothered to do any more. I'm not gonna lie, I'm done with it. So I'm gonna sandpaper. I'm gonna sandpaper the top of this, and then I'm just gonna put some resin over the top. I say just because I've never done resin before, so hopefully this works, but otherwise this one's looking really, really, really cool. And then this one, I thought I was done with it, but I had to bring the top up because this is my other one. It just looked so plain and so boring without this lid done. So I did the lid and I did it all the fun sparkly colours, and I had to do the side as well. The problem I then had was that it looked, do you see here, this can go all the way up to the top, and that looks really cool. But if I show you on the inside, the stones on the inside don't actually go all the way to the top, so it left like a couple of centimetres gap at the top here. So I then had to rhinestone all the top here, so it took a while. And that one's actually come off, so we want to pop that one back on. I'll glue that one on in a second. So now I'm going to sandpaper the bottom and then put resin on the bottom here. And then the last thing I want to do for the tumblers is to put some resin on the top here, because again, I think this is just a little bit too plain. Like, it looks fine, but I think it's just a bit too plain. So my plan is to use the remaining glitter that I had from the tumbler and then mix that in with the resin and put it on the top. Again, I've not done resin before, so let's see how. I'm going to be wearing goggles and a mask and gloves for this whole thing, so I'm going to have to probably talk you through it after the fact, because it's going to be hard to talk during, not hard to talk, but hard for you to hear me talk. So I think I'm just going to crack on. So the resin has dried for 24 hours and everything is looking really, really cool. So let me show you this sparkly one first. I will show you in the light as well when it is light outside. So this is the bottom. So hopefully you can see if I go shiny there. So the bumper underneath is fully submersed in the resin. The resin is completely dry, so that is not coming out. And then this is just the sparkles on the top. So sparkly and so cool. So that's that, and I do feel like it's gone really well with the lover theme. And then this is the lid, but the lid's been looking really good this whole time. So this is my lid. And then my second, so the resin at the top, I popped the glitter in with. I think that just looks so cool. We don't have any air bubbles or anything, so this I'm really, really, really happy with. I'm surprised how kind of well it turned out. And then here, let's just flip it over and then start to shake it. So this is the lid. I'm actually really happy with the lid. I think it looks really cool, and it just feels like it goes with the tumbler perfectly. Now, my only issue that you can probably see is that some of the resin has come down a little bit at the edge there, and it's gone through the center. I can almost fit the straw in. So I'm gonna see if I can kind of file this off or something like that. I'm not sure how I would have done it differently other than use less resin, but it was really hard to tell at the time. I'm actually really happy with that. I think it looks really cool and really professional. It doesn't have any air bubbles in or anything like that. So I'm gonna say 10 out of 10, but it might be unusable. And so here are my final two tumblers. So we have the rhinestone and then we have the glitter. Let me know which is your favourite. This one definitely was a lot more effort. I don't know if it shows that it was more effort or not, I'm not sure. But yeah, let me know which one you prefer, rhinestones or glitter. I will give you 3 seconds to decide what I'm about to make. So I am going to make the t-shirt, of course, from 22. I've got my black and my red heat transfer vinyl. I've got my white t-shirt, my Cricut, and of course my heat press. So let's get to design space and just really quickly make up what the design is, because let's face it, we already know what the design is. So let's get to it. I've already downloaded the font. I believe from research, my font is called Bow College. Is that how you say it? Probably not. So this one, this I believe, looks exactly like what I need. So it's got the angles on the G. This to me looks like the right thing. And I'm going to go for red. Perfect. Basically, I want to line this up in a minute so that I know that everything's going to go in the right space. So next I need to measure my t-shirt in real life. Cool. So this is roughly the size of the t-shirt. I just wanted to be able to see it. And I know you can do a template of a t-shirt, but to be honest, I find that as soon as I do a template, it doesn't let me see anything else. So what do we think? Do we think that that's good? Imagine that was the edge of the t-shirt. The crew neck would start here. Is that too small? Do we need to go a tiny touch bigger? I also want to make sure that it's going to fit on my Cricut mat. So that's kind of perfect at the moment, even though obviously I'm going to cut it in 2 colours. I'm just going to measure my t-shirt one more time. So I just want to make sure that this sits on there nicely because I want to make sure that this is the right size. So we have this is going to be black. The square I don't need to cut out. So this is what we're working with. Perfect, so let's make. Is everything switched on? Not yet. That took no time at all, so I'm very happy with that. I've now got to cut the black first, followed by the red. And this is your reminder to have a mirror on and a shiny side down. I've made that mistake far too many times. I love weeding, it makes me very happy. So I'm hoping that this weeding is going to be relatively easy. It looks like it's going to be easy. So this should just peel off so nicely. Yay! Oh my god, this is going to look so good. Sadly, it wasn't difficult because I wanted to use the phrase, I knew you were trouble. I don't even dare sing it because I can't. So I've just realised that everything was meant to be lined up here. I completely forgot, but looking at it, it just doesn't look right. So I need to get rid of the at the and then move it across. But I'm a little bit annoyed at myself, but I'm really glad I realised before I made the t-shirt because that would have been extremely annoying, but I'm glad I realised now. So I'm going to cut the at the out, but I'm going to try and leave like a gap here, and then I'm going to just shift everything across. So hopefully when I put it on the t-shirt, it should look really obvious where everything needs to go. Oh, that's my hope. How annoying. So first of all, we are going to press the t-shirt for 5 seconds. We're going to do it in a couple of places. I've never been so thorough in all my life. Usually I just do it without pressing it. Okay. So now we need to try and arrange everything. So if this was actually in the right place, there, it would be. Problem is, I feel like it's looking really good and I don't want to move it. Right, I'm just going to press these bits and then do the next bit. That's all I can do right now. Do you know what? There is a lot going on at the moment. There is. Right, so this doesn't actually cover the whole thing, so I'm going to press this twice. I actually find quite a lot of the time it doesn't press properly. So the only thing here, I don't quite like the spacing between the A and the T. To me that looks a bit too big. So what I might just do is just leave that there for a second, do moment, because I think moment needs to be next, and I'm going to come back for the at the. I finally managed to align the a lot going on moment. I haven't yet done at the because I'm going to do, basically I want to do the A and then the T and then the because I think the A and the T they're just a little bit too far apart for my liking. I should have changed that in design space. I didn't. It's my fault. Obviously, it was no one else's. It was never going to be anyone else's fault. It has now cooled down, so I'm going to start peeling it off, and I'm hoping that everything has stuck down enough, and if not, I will do it a little bit more with the heat press because sometimes it doesn't always work. So let's get to the last bit. Right, what should we start with? Is it wanting to come off? That's coming off easy, it's just that corner. I might press that corner one more time because look, that's lifting up. Right, let's press that corner one more time. Yay! Fail at the start. Right, round what, 3? Let's go. Okay, everything is cooled again for the second time, so I'm going to do my absolute best to make this the last time I do this. So I've pressed this for 155. Oh, look, that's lifting. Oh, how annoying. That's going to look rubbish. Right. Maybe what I'll do is I'll try and take off what I can, and then I will put the, what's it called? A layer between everything and just hope that it peels up okay. How is a shirt that's meant to be the easiest thing I do? Like the design was done, it was just black and red vinyl, nothing difficult. How is this so far the hardest thing I've made to date? So the few key bits I need to do are obviously the T, where it's just not even coming off of the carrier sheet, the A, the M down here. So let's just put those ones on there. Let's see if this is going to be the last round. That was an absolute mission, but thank goodness it is done. I think it looks good now. I don't know why it didn't want to stick down. As soon as I could take the carrier sheet off, it was absolutely fine. It just needed a little bit of time to just do its own thing, but I'm really happy with it. I managed to fix it. I made a million mistakes, but I fixed it. So now I'm going to try it on, but otherwise, this is where we're at. Woo! I hope you are ready for our fearless era, and this is everything we're going to be using. I'm going to make a little canvas picture basically. So we need some gold foil or paint. I've gone for gold foil because gold obviously, and then foil just for fun. Mod Podge for glue, obviously a little brush. This is my canvas. This is just a small one. This is 15 by 15 centimeters, but I think that's plenty big enough. And then just some removable vinyl that you have the most of and like the least. So I've used this for my Halloween projects recently. I don't need it anymore. Well, I probably will at some point. So we're going to go to Design Space and we're going to design, and I think I know what I'm going for, and I want to go for heart hands. I'm going to start by putting my square onto Design Space so that I know what I'm working with, and this is 15 by 15 centimeters. So let's just change that to now. Perfect, and my canvas is white, so for now I'm just going to make it white. I think I want some heart hands coming up and over here, and then a lot of just blank space potentially. So I'm going to go to images, and I'm going to search for heart hands, one word or two. Let's try two. Okay. So I like, this one's really simple, which I think is similar to what I need, but it's not quite, this one's quite nice. So let us add this one. Gosh, they're so big. I can't have too much detail because I'm going to use this as a stencil. So let's just go with these three and see. Are these the same? Same, different. Yeah, this one's better. Right. Let's get rid of those two. So of the shadowy ones, I like these ones. Now my only concern is that I don't want it to go along. I wanted it more down. That's print and cut image anyway, which doesn't help the situation, which I kind of knew it was anyway. So what I'm wondering is if I can make this bigger, if I cut off the sides, will it look rubbish? So for example, it would be gold. Yeah, that one's closest. Can you tell that they're hands? Let's do it one more time and see if we can find any. Right, I think I'm being too picky because I feel like you can tell what they are. As I was cutting this, I realised that the heart in the centre would be kind of free range and floating if I took out the hands in the centre. So I'm debating whether to still use it as a sticker and then just eyeball where the heart goes, or whether I should put it on transfer tape. I'm going to weed it first and then see how I feel when I actually get there. I also may have sat on it because I was cutting out some labels for something else at the same time, and yeah, I've creased it. So well done me. Shall I just eyeball it? Right, I'm going to do it as two stickers. Okay. So now my bottom section should also go underneath perfectly. Right, done. Easy. So all I need to do is to use my Mod Podge and my gold foil. I think I'm going to put the Mod Podge on first, and then I'm just going to basically paint the whole thing. Now this might be a bad move because I don't want the orange bits to stick, so I'm now going to attach the foil. So I'm going to be quite, this stuff just gets everywhere, making it look like I haven't used it before, but I have many times. Okay, so I'm just going to grab and place. Grab and place. That's the aim of the game. Grab and place. Grab and place. Okay, because I did it roughly, obviously some of the foil is going to stick to the stencil, which is fine because I'm not going to keep the stencil on for very long. And I'm going to dab over the top because this dries clear. I'm going to brush in from the edges a little bit, not too much. Right, so now I'm going to switch and I'm going to do the second side. I'm trying to go as fast as I can so that the glue doesn't dry too quickly before I've had a chance to take the stencil off. I'm convincing myself that this is the best way to do it. So now I'm going to put another layer of Mod Podge on top of these bits to help these ones stick down, or at least partly stick down. And this is either going to work really well, or when I peel the stencil off, the whole thing's going to come off. I've realised there's a heart in the middle, obviously, and I've been really going at that bit. So moment of truth is that I need to start peeling off before the glue sets in too much. So this is either going to work wonderfully, or if it's going to work or not. So let's go for the bottom one first. Probably should have done the top one first, thinking about it. Okay. All right, my issue is going to be the heart in the middle, so we'll do that last. Okay, okay. Okay, now for the heart, I'm going to try and pick a corner with my weeding tool. Okay. Wow. What do we think? Oh, I love it. Okay, I'm going to let this dry a little bit more. Actually, I'm going to try and just pop on a little bit at the bottom. I'm not going to touch it anymore for tonight because my fingers are so glittery and gluey. I'm just going to leave it there, but I think it looks so good. Right, I will see you in the morning when I'm not covered. Look how cool this one turned out. It's dried for a few days now. I'm so happy with this one. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. So I've just kept the gold just on the front. It kind of goes over the side, so you can't really tell whether it's on the front or just the side, but look how cool that is. You can definitely tell that it's two hands. You can tell that it's a heart. I think it just looks really stylish and really cool and kind of would sit on any windowsill or any wall. I'm really happy with this one. We are on to Evermore, and as much as I'd like to come up with something for No Body No Crime, I am actually going for Champagne Problems, and I'm going to make a coaster. If you've seen my other coaster before, you'll know why I'm making this one. So I've got some slate coasters, I've got some removable vinyl that is just scrap, and then some armour etch, which I've not used before, and I've got all the safety stuff to go with this. So I'm going to go to Design Space. I'm going to make my Champagne Problems stencils. I'm going to make 2 stencils. Let's start by adding a shape. I'm just going to add a square because that is the coaster shape. Mine are 9 by 9 centimeters. They are a little bit bigger than that, but they're really rough on the edges because of the slate. So I'm just going to make it 9 by 9 centimeters. And let's go into images and look up champagne glasses. And let's see what they come up with. I've seen some cool ones already. Now these are going to be stencils, so it needs to be easy enough to weed out. So I like this one, that's quite simple. These ones are quite nice. I like the love hearts. There's one, maybe just this one. I liked this one originally. This one can maybe be a bit more central. So then I'm just trying to think, if I weed the black bits out, so this would be the bit that would be in the armour etching bits. So what I'm going to do this time, I can either keep the rectangle and just make sure I can put it in place, or I could just cut these bits out and hide the rectangle. So I would just be cutting out these bits and just make sure when I cut out from the vinyl, I just cut roughly around it, which I think is what I might do. So if I wanted to make sure that my designs were perfectly central, I would have made the little rectangle, but I don't really want these to be central. So I'm just doing these really roughly. Now I need to weed them, and I need to make sure that I weed the bits that I want the armour etching to come onto. So let me think this through. So let's do this one first. So I'm just going to take the backing off of the transfer tape. And let's just roughly put it over. Scrape it down. I've done this really roughly, so hopefully, yeah, perfect, everything's on there. Now I'm just going to roughly position this one. I wanted slightly off center. Okay, I'm going to scrape it down. Right, so hopefully this is just going to be easy peasy. Almost, not quite. So as long as my pieces stay down in the centre, then that's fine. Stencils are done and I think they are looking pretty cool. So now I'm going to use my armour etch, and it basically just says to put it on for 2 to 3 minutes and then to wash off. It says glass mirrors, etc., but I have looked it up and I have seen people do slate before, so this is why I'm hopeful this is going to work. Everything I've read about this is that I just basically put on as much as I can, and people have said not to brush it, you just need a really thick layer on the top of it. So I'm just basically going to do that now, leave it for 2 to 3 minutes and then go and rinse it off and then come back and show you. I'm a little conflicted because the bottle says 2 to 3 minutes. Everything I've read online says 10 to 15 minutes. So I don't want to waste my time and have nothing happen, but I just feel like nothing's going to happen in 2 to 3 minutes, but that's what it says to do. So I'm kind of going to give it somewhere in between and then just hope for the best. And if it doesn't work, then I will do the same again tomorrow, but with a different design. So first one has been rinsed off, and I can tell you right now that it is in fact an absolute fail. Nothing has come up whatsoever. So I'm getting round 2 ready, which is a candle. So I'm going to leave this one a little bit longer, but you can see here, literally nothing. Or maybe something. Okay, maybe it's not as, oh, I don't know. Or it's so hard to tell. I'm half disappointed and half hopeful. Do you know what? That's quite subtle, but it's something there. My other option was to see if I could put the same stencil on this glass. I can't promise that this won't break my glass, because this is a candle, but it's funny because I couldn't smell anything the first time around with this arm etch stuff, but I can smell it now. So I feel like my slate tile is developing more. I actually think that's quite cute. You know what? I was about to give up and about to be really mad at it about this, but that's actually okay. So I'm going to go rinse off the other one. Okay, so here we go. This is the token candle. Oh, some of it's actually stuck underneath. Okay, so we have the first one that was left for about 5-10 minutes. This one actually isn't that bad. Because it's on the slate, you can see where the lines have gone a bit wonky, but I think that was just the nature of doing it on slate. It was always going to happen. And then this one, again, the lines have gone a bit bubbly, but again, that's just because it's on slate. So these two, I think they're actually quite cute. And then this candle, which was just our trial, I guess. I don't know if you can even see that in there because of the nature of the candle underneath it, but it's definitely there. I had no faith and I almost called it quits, but they look pretty good. So I'm quite happy with this. I don't know if they're going to develop any more than that, but that looks really cool to me, as does this. I quite like that they're subtle. They're not really obvious and they're not kind of glaring and in your face. I don't know if you can see this one. So this one didn't show up nearly as much as I thought, and that's obviously because the candle's underneath, and that's not really something I thought through. I think I just thought it was going to come up really, really glaringly obvious, but now it just looks like the glass is dirty, whereas actually it's just etched in. So that's the heart, and the top of the glass is here. So let's pretend that one didn't happen, and we'll turn that one around, but these ones are a massive win. We're going for Taylor Swift, and I was going to make some sort of little cowboy keychain, but actually I found something better. So for this one, we need some card. I've gone for 2 sheets of light green, 2 sheets of dark green, and then something fun in the middle. So I've gone for silver. We need our blue matte, and then hopefully just Pritt Stick, but I might need something stronger, so we will see. So I'm actually going to go to Design Space and use a design that I've already seen, because it's going to be hopefully nice and easy, and it's going to look really cool. So what I originally did was go to images and look up cowboy boot, and I found all of these cool ones, and I was going to go for something like this for the keychain, but I decided to hop over into projects and search for cowboy boot, and I found a few cool ones. Like this one I really liked, but I didn't really know what it was. And then hopefully, yes, this is what I think I'm going to make, this little gift box. I'll just have a quick scroll to see if there's anything else, but I did look before. That's quite nice. And I think I'm just going to go straight for the gift box, because why not? So let's see, we just need for these dark pink, light pink and gold mirror. So dark pink, light pink and gold mirror. I haven't decided what colours I'm going to do yet. And then I've got my stylus, my grip mat, my glue, tape and a fine point blade. So I'm just going to edit a copy because I don't know how big this is. And I do find with a lot of the projects, I don't know how big they are. So 13 centimeters by 15 centimeters. So that will fit on an A4 piece of paper. And then we have, let's just zoom out for a second. Okay, so we have the top piece, which is going to be all the different colors. Then we have, I'm presuming, the base. This is the layer underneath, and then these are the sides. So I'm just going to click make and see what comes up. So if I go to on matte, so this is going to be the gold. So this is just a really small layer actually, isn't it? And then this matte is going to be the boot and the sides of the box, I'm guessing. And then this is the light pink. This is just the underlayer for the gold. And then this is the top layer that goes underneath the other layer, if that makes any sense. And then these edges. So I think I'm just going to go straight to make it because that just seems like the easiest plan. Everything is now cut out, and I used my, I want to say, stylus tool instead of a scoring wheel. So this is everything we need. So I've got the lighter piece, the darker piece, and the silver, which I think just all attached like this. So I'm just folding in on the score lines at the moment so that I have everything ready there. I'm just going to double check because there is a video attached. So I'm just going to double check on the video. So it's showing me that I put the teeth on this outside bit. I was going to do it on the inside bit, and then I put this bit over the top there. So I guess that makes sense. So this is what we have so far. Now I've just got to hope that this bit's long enough to fit around here. It's just about long enough. I do have other glue I can use, but I was really hoping just to stick with the Pritt stick. So my plan is to now sellotape these bits down because this bit won't be seen, and you can see this just isn't gluing down whatsoever. I could use my hot glue gun, but I think it would make the cardboard too sticky, so I'm just going to use sellotape, which is going to probably make the next bit harder, but at the moment this isn't working at all. Just feel like there's no glue on there whatsoever. Let's try again. Okay, that seems a little bit better. It's still not great, but it's better than, oh no, it's just rubbish. I'm going to now glue the back of this boot, and then I'm going to stick it down there, and I'm going to hope that just keeps everything in place. All right, it's not the best, it's not the worst. From a distance, that's all right. I'll take that. Okay. Part one, kind of done. Do we think there's a better way I could have done it? Right, yes, I'm going to say yes, there's a much better way. Okay, so now I'm going to glue the bottom of the boot. I'm going to glue the whole of the bottom of the boot. The whole thing. I'm going to glue a lot around the edges. This is definitely the way to go compared to what I did the first time though. So that actually is looking pretty good now. Right, now I just need to do the bottom. That's how much glue is on this. Is curling in because it's wet from the glue, but when I touch it, it's just completely dry. Okay, so it's still got some bits where it's not stuck very well, but I should now, hopefully, be able to glue this whole bit here onto here and stick it down thoroughly. Okay, quite cute. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. Okay, so theoretically, this and this go together. Oh, okay, it has actually worked. I don't know how well it's worked, but it's worked. I think the bottom was definitely better than the top. The top needs a little bit of love, but that's okay. My box is now finished. I think it looks really, really cute. It's not the best thing I've ever made, but it's definitely a cute thing. I think my glue leaves a little bit to be desired because it is stuck down now, but it's just not wanting to stay stuck down, but that's okay. And then it does open, so this is just the side of it, and then it opens up like this. So it's quite a cute little box. I'd say it's a good rainy day activity rather than something I would particularly give to someone. Maybe I'll give it to my little girl. She might like this.